Hello everyone, hello my little dyslexia community. Norda is here and welcome a new episode of Real Talk with Norda. Today my dear guest is Claude. He's from UK, age 23. He was one of the youngest in UK at the age of 4 to be diagnosed with a development condition disorder, Dyspraxia, Dyscalculia, Dyslexia, Autistic spectrum and Epislpsy. His support on the journey was his mother, his campaign network created by himself. He is a student campaigner, author, young delegate, and philanthropist. His hobbies are singer-songwriting, horse riding, ballet dancing, and swimming. His plans for the future for his campaign to achieve 100,000 signatures for everyone to spread the important message of awareness in regards to the Claude Sen Law by joining the Claude Sen Law Challenge and in the Claude Sen Law Social Storm. Also, he wishes to resume with his education and he calls you for action and asks you to visit his social media platforms. Hello, Claude. How are you?
Hi, I'm rolling with the waves. I'm well, and it's good to be here and join with you today.
Thank you so much for being here. I'm really excited. And yes, are you ready for my questions? Are you ready for Real Talk with Norda? Yes. Great. My first question for you is, what kind of difficulties did you had through your schooling with your dyslexia?
So I was only coming to terms with my diagnosis, and I had issues within my reading, and I also found it difficult because I had interruptions within my education.
Mm-hmm. And like in school, what kind of accommodations did you get through your schooling?
I had a difficult time in my primary, and I had also the support wasn't there, and there was the lack of understanding for neurodiverse. Mm-hmm. And there's that kind of like lack of kind of resources and also kind of understanding and breaking down things and understanding neurodiverse students. So there wasn't much support.
Yes, that is really great when you are like in environment which understand like neurodiversity and neurodivergent people. And could you tell me, like, I talk with so many dyslexics, and like you as dyslexic person, did you struggle with your mental health, like anxiety, low self-esteem?
Yes, and I would say that it's an issue that is very poignant in the fact that we and myself have struggled, and I found that it's a big issue when you have the kind of qualities of feeling that you might be inadequate, may not be talented and not be gifted, and of course we are gifted. So I would say we did pull a toll on my mental health.
Yes, every dyslexic has some gift inside of him, and we have our strengths. And could you tell me, how do you stay motivated? Like with all those struggles, how do you motivate yourself?
I would say my big inspiration and my motivation is my mum, and I would say that she's always encouraged me to do the best of my abilities, not put too much pressure on myself. And yes. Yeah, I would say that's my big motivation.
Yes, moms are best. Like my mom was a really big motivation for me, and she was like pushing me, like go fight and never give up on yourself. And yes, moms are queens, like literally. And do you think why such a negative perception around dyslexia?
I think there's a lack of education, and I think the perception of us being kind of slow in learning, and the fact that we learn in a different way, and because of how the system's very systematic, and I think that kind of thinking out the box isn't really accommodated, and it needs to be more accommodated in that point of view.
Yes, I totally agree. Like we need to like educate people about dyslexia and other neurodiversities because that is really important subject. And could you tell me what we dyslexics need to do, like to change that negative perception around dyslexia? We as dyslexia community.
Yeah, I think that we as a community can educate others. We can also be role models and inspire others. And I think it's so important that we are showing other next generation that it's possible, that you are neurodiverse, but you are great, and empowering them that the impossible is possible.
Yes, you said like now really beautiful like quote, you are neurodiverse but you are great. That is really beautiful quote. Like, yes, could you tell me what kind of influence dyslexia has on your work?
Yeah, I would say that I like to put my standards quite high. I'm a bit of a perfectionist, and I would say that I also kind of I challenge myself a bit, but it's the fact that I feel that I have to get the task done. I can't leave it out of completed,
Yes.
because I end up getting a bit stressed, and
Yes,
I
same.
find that I'm a perfectionist. I think that's the best term, really.
Yes, and sometimes be perfectionist is good, sometimes is bad, but yes, that when you want to when you want that something need to be perfect, like you're trying your best to be perfect. Could you share with us your dyslexia strategies for learning or organization? Do you have some tips and tricks for us?
Yeah, my tips and tricks would be that I always make sure I write things down. I always, if I can't write things down, I always try and make a note of it. So I would like make sure I draw a picture instead if it's not written form, best for me. And also I would try and make sure that if I end up forgetting something, never really feel too down about it. You can always do it again. And I would also say that another tip is to always take life by the horns, because we only live once. So I think
Yes.
you've got to give it always the best shot you can.
Yes, I totally agree with you. And do you have positive or negative attitude towards dyslexia? Like, how do you stand with your dyslexia now?
I love the qualities of my dyslexia because it's made me who I am today. And I think without my qualities, it wouldn't make me be unique, because the fact is that I love that I am unique. I've got my own identity, and I think that dyslexia is a great benefit. And what I find that the way of how I look into things is great in the way that other people may not look into that idea or that kind of method of kind of bringing something to life.
Yes, and yes, that is really beautiful. And could you share with us, like, I love this question. Could you share your strengths and your dyslexia weaknesses, like few strengths, few weaknesses?
Okay, so my weaknesses would be my short-term memory, and I
Same.
also would say it's sometimes hard for me to juggle a few things, so I would have to do one thing at a time, make sure I finish that, then move on to the next thing. My strengths would be thinking out the box, would be coming up with initiative ideas. Also, I think my ability of listening to people and also kind of being empathetic to the situation and of how we could improve that situation as well, and my creativity.
Yes, yes, we dyslexic, we are really have that high level of empathy because of our like struggles and situation, and also we are really creative. Last question for you is, could you share your dyslexia message to our community? What do you think as dyslexic is most important for us?
Well, I think it's important to love yourself, not to let any of your challenges affect you. It's so important that you also, whatever people say, don't let them deter you, and know what you believe in. Whatever you believe in, you can change it.
Yes, dear Claude, thank you so much for this beautiful interview, for your really beautiful, inspiring story and your beautiful thoughts and words. I'm sure that your story will inspire others to change their attitude towards dyslexia. Really, thank you, and I wish you all the best and lots of success in future with your projects. And also, don't forget to go on Claude's social media websites and see his work and his effort to change that negative attitudes towards neurodiversities. And thank you so much for watching this episode of Real Talk with Norda, and see you in some other episode. And till next time, don't forget to stay positive and keep going. Bye.